Hello and welcome to episode 194. I'm still having to check every time I record. Before I press go, I look and I see which episode is it, and I say hello and welcome to episode, and then I have to check again because I don't trust myself. It's because a couple of times in the past we've had the same episode number twice. So anyway, I promised you I would be back this week, and here I am. And I want to show you the things that I'm planning to knit on during November. But first, I want to close out October by showing you what I finished. I have finished my scarf. This was a birthday cast on, and oh my gosh, that's a long white one. I'm frequently told I don't look my age, but it's creeping up on me, people. It's creeping up on me. Yes, this yarn, which was a gift from Denise, my friend Denise, of Dear Designs, for my birthday, was my birthday cast on. And I cast on this Dancing Droplets skinny scarf by Stephen West. The yarn was called Autumn Birthday, and I have loved knitting this so much because I think the little droplets look like little autumn leaves because of the colour. I was there when I showed it to you last week. I just had that little bit to do. I then blocked it, and there was a bit of a blocking disaster. I had pinned it. It's not great blocking weather at the moment. I love the weather. It's dark and windy and occasionally wet, and I really like it. I know I was moaning last week that the summer had gone, but I am an autumn girl, really. So I pinned it on the airer to dry, and now I have kind of a fluted edge. The plan was to pin it until it was nearly dry so that it would sort of drop out, and then take it off and make it flat. Well, I'm going to explain this now. I was doing this on Friday afternoon, and Ewan finishes work at lunchtime on a Friday, and he came home and he had a bee in his bonnet about making something for his reenactment kit, which involved getting my overlocker out, and the overlocker has to go on the landing outside this room. There is what used to be a drop leaf table that Dave cut in half and attached to the wall. So now I have a leaf that I can put up for cutting out and putting sewing machines and the overlocker on. But when that's up, it means I can't get up to my bedroom, which is where I had this pinned and blocking. The overlocker is possessed by a spirit who does not like women. I couldn't let Ewan use it because what it needed overlocking was a great circle, and that's not easy. So I tried to do it. It all went horribly wrong. Everything snapped, everything unthreaded itself. We ended up having to leave it for Dave when he got home from work to have a look at. He spent all evening trying to sort it out and to finish. There was like that much left to sew, and it just would not do it. And it wouldn't do it for Dave either. So anyway, long story short, the table was in the way. Couldn't get up to my bedroom until it was too late, and this was dry and it had lumpy bits in it. But once it's round my neck, I don't think that's going to matter. If you're curious, no, the overlocker is still not sorted. It got put away in disgust and left. So, back to the scarf. This is a pattern for one skein of DK weight yarn. I had two, and so I wanted a longer scarf, and I think it's worked out perfectly. It is long enough to fold in half and pull the ends through. It's long enough to do this with, so you don't get a draft down the opening of your coat. I love it. I love it so much, and I'm so pleased that it's finished and I can wear it in the season that it's gonna go with the best. So that's my first finish from October. Started and finished within the month. Pretty good going for me. I'll take that marker out in a minute. So thank you, Denise. And I've also finished my MCal substitute shawl. This is the Winter Lights by Stephen West. I used my MCal yarn for it because it needed the same number of skeins, and so it was the obvious choice. I'd also been planning to make this last year as my November Christmas shawl, but gift knitting got in the way and it didn't get done, so the pattern was sat there waiting for me, and I just thought, okay. Again, this isn't blocked terribly well because this got pinned. It's one of those square areas, and this just got pinned around the outside and sort of gently pulled to open up the honeycombs. But it's a reasonable size shawl, I think you will agree. It should be larger. There should be another 3 stripes on the border. But my experience of Stephen West shawls in the past are that mostly they are enormous, and I've got a couple that are really too big for me to wear comfortably. Oh, that's a sharp bit. So they kind of get used like a blanket. I didn't really want to have to do that with this one, so I finished it 3 stripes early. The I-cord bind off took about 2 hours. I don't mind an I-cord bind off. I think once you get into the rhythm of it, my brain switches off and I don't take notice of how long it's taking. So yeah, this is finished. Again, this is my second finish for October, and it was cast on and finished within the same month. Where's the... Oh, I just saw a marker. There it is. Yeah. So sorry. I'm a bit froggy this morning. There is a marker that you can barely see. That's where I was when I showed it to you. And so I just... that little bit. So it's quite... dip you down. Quite a reasonable size. Certainly large enough to go round my arms and cover my upper arms, which, as I've said plenty of times before, that is the bit that gets cold. So it will serve its purpose very nicely. I'm happy with the colours, but I'm not sure how much wear I'm going to get out of it, if I'm honest. In the skeins, I looked at them and I thought they are autumnal colours, because I always tend to gravitate towards autumnal colours for the MCal because it's knit in October, and I do love autumnal colours amongst all the other colours I love. But once it's knitted up, I'm seeing more summer. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Autumn or summer? Late summer? Autumn? I don't know. I think possibly because the predominant colour is the orange, the tangerine. Don't know. I should have said I dyed all these yarns. The lighter 2 pinks were dyed years ago. I don't remember how I did them. I was just playing, and I've got absolute... It was before I even started writing recipes down. The purpley brown and the tangerine I dyed up specially for it to go with the 2 that I already had. So yeah, so that's that. 2 finished objects, both started and finished in the same month, which is almost unheard of. And in this room. Okay, let's fold this up. While I'm doing that, did anybody else watch? I'm sure lots of people did. If you're in the UK anyway, I believe you can't get it in the US. Game of Wool. Let me straighten you back up. It's a new knitting game show, I suppose, along the lines of Sewing Bee and the Great British Bake Off, but for knitting. And the first episode was on Sunday. I have mixed feelings. I think my personal opinion is that they sent the wrong person home. I think there was someone else who hadn't done as well. But I don't want to get into all the controversy of, you know, it's the same with everything, isn't it? Whether it's Bake Off, Sewing Bee, Strictly Come Dancing. Strictly, that is right, isn't it? Strictly Come Dancing, because we only ever say Strictly. Yeah. It's never the right person that goes home for 90% of people who watch it, is it? So we won't get into that. Right. November is mostly planned for gift knitting. Some are started, some are not. There are a couple of things that aren't gift knits, 3 things that aren't gift knits. But everything else is a gift of some sort. So I haven't started any socks yet, but this basket, these are all the yarns that I've set aside for socks I need to knit. It's not quite as bad as it looks because there are 3 balls in there that are for contrast heels or toes, possibly cuffs. But everything else, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of socks I'm hoping to knit for Christmas gifts. I must get 3 done. I would like to get 5 done. I'd rather like a new pair of socks myself this Christmas, so we'll see how well all of that goes. They will all just be my own vanilla recipe that I use for everybody because I've got them measurements. Right. So, if there's a big clatter in a minute, do not be alarmed. I'm just propping things up. Okay. Something that has been carried over from October because it's a gift knit is this. It's another Stephen West pattern from the same Skinny Scarf, no, Small Shawls ebook as the Dancing Droplet Skinny Scarf. This is the, oh my gosh, I struggle so much with this, Smock O'Clock Triangle Shawl. And I was there when I showed it to you last week. So this got worked on for a day. It should look like this when it's blocked. And I'm using a giftable from Rosie's Moments. This one. Held together with some Drops Kid Silk. Is it Drops Kid Silk? Every time. Every time. Yes, Drops Kid Silk in colour 17. That's actually coming out a bit better this week. I've got the blinds open to let as much light as there is in, and I've got the top light on as well, because otherwise I was sat here in the dark. Which is great for me, but not so great for showing colours. So yeah, I've got a little bit of work done on this to progress keeper that's on it, oh excuse me, I've got a really itchy nose, came out of the gifter ball. I got something else since I saw you. Oh, a sticker. I'm really enjoying that. I don't know, I'm going to the finish the sentence, Mandy, before you move on to the next one. I'm going to the Christmas Wool Show in a couple of weeks it's in Birmingham, next door to the Motorcycle Museum, National Conference Centre. I don't know if Rosie's Moments is going to be there. I did look at the exhibitor list, but it went straight out my head. If she is, I'm going to grab another one. It's the first gifter ball that I've had, and I've really enjoyed knitting it. Even though it was the last one, I bought it on Sunday, sort of in the last hour on Sunday, and it was the last one she had left, so it wasn't necessarily a colour I would have picked. I do like purple, but I prefer this kind of plummy purple. But I thought it would make a lovely gift, so I am knitting it as a gift. I think I'm almost ready to start the decreases, but it's not very long. And the advice that you're given is to, oh, I'm so sorry, honestly, my nose. I don't know what I've touched, but something is making my nose itchy. You're advised to weigh it and check that you've got at least 50% left. I should have more than 50% left because the pattern is written for a 400 metre ball and this is 425. But weighing it will do me no good because it's still got things in it other than yarn. So I'm in a bit of a quandary as to whether I extend the length or start decreasing where it says I should. I might have to, when I get to where I'm ready to start the decreases, to just like hold it at the back of my neck and wrap it round and see, is it going to be usable? Because as I say, unless I unwind the ball and rewind it and take all the gifts out, which kind of defeats the object of having a gift ball, doesn't it? I can't really weigh it. I did not think about that when I started it, but never mind. Okay, this is a project that you have seen before, but not since probably around this time last year, and I'm dithering about whether or not to change the pattern. This means absolutely nothing to you at the moment. This is a Stephen West cowl. It's the Cushy Comfort cowl. You can see it's still got all my Christmas things on from when I was knitting it last year. I don't know whether to change it. After I started this, he brought out the brioche cowl, something brioche. Brio something cowl, doesn't matter. So I don't know whether to pull this out because obviously it's an inch and a bit of rib, and knit the other one because it's a different stitch count and a different needle size, or whether to carry on with this. I'm using Drops Merino DK. No, it's not Drops, it's Yarn Smiths. And the colourway is 3002. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was graphite. It's a very dark grey. It's actually better over here, I think. But let me show you, because this is the second one. Frog's back. Let me show you this one, because then you get a better idea of what it's going to look like. There you go. Lots of cables. I'm going to pause and see if I can get rid of my frog. Hang on. Okay. frog has been evicted. Yeah, so this is what it will look like. I'm torn. I have knit this before. I knit one for Ewan for his birthday in January. And it's quite an interesting pattern to knit. There's cabling, there's stuff going on. It's an 8-row pattern repeat, so it's not so long that you get bored. It's an enjoyable pattern to knit. I might just carry on with it as it is. It's a double walled cowl, so once you've finished your cabling and you've put the rib on the other end, you knit a lining. You carry on knitting, but you knit a lining, and the lining should be a mohair, a DK mohair. And I know all the people that I'm knitting this for will not tolerate mohair. I'm taking a bit of a chance with 100% wool, but the Drops Merino is so soft. But I saw a word then, and it was close to the word that I wanted to say, and now I can't think what the word I wanted to say was because I've seen this word. Substituted. I have substituted the merino for this. It's Alt Yarns, and it's 100% 4-ply bamboo, and it is so soft and silky. And for Ewan's, I held it double, and that worked perfectly well. So I will do the same for the inside of this one and the inside of the other one, because whichever pattern I knit, this one or the one with the brioche, they both have the same lining in, so I will use the bamboo inside it. I think when you saw this last year, none of you will remember it. I had about the same amount, about half a rib. So I'm going to put a marker in. I didn't put a marker in the other one because I wasn't sure if I'm going to carry on with it. What shall we have? I was watching my friend Tonya this morning, and she was putting markers in her. Tonya is calm as a stitch, and she does through November a whip roundup. So every day she shows you one of her projects and she works on it for the rest of that day. And she was looking through her pot of stitch markers to put a progress marker in, and she was saying, oh, it shouldn't be this hard. This one's too heavy. That one's got the wrong clasp on it. I feel you, Tonya, because I'm now doing the exact same thing. What shall we have? What's that? Tell you what, save me sat here for 5 minutes rooting through while you all lose the will to live. I'm going to put this little witch's hat on it. That there. So that's 2 potentially of these, the same, just slightly different colours. This is also the Yarnsmith's Merino DK, but this is free. It's free. It wasn't free. I had to pay for it. This is 3008. Don't laugh at your own jokes, Mandy. Right. So that's enough of that. Now I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing because it is relevant to the next project. This is a sweater that I knit a few years ago, and I used this pattern. This is the pattern that I keep using for numbers for things. It's a bottom up, knit in pieces, raglan sleeve, cardigan or sweater, and I've used it so often. And I said last week I really ought to, I keep thinking about buying another one because this one is starting to get a bit fally to pieces. I've actually done it. I've actually bought a digital copy and downloaded it onto my Knit Companion. The link is, it was below last week's, it will be below this week's as well. It's a link to Wool Warehouse, and you can, I believe, buy a hard copy as well as a downloadable copy. So this was made from this pattern, and this is all knit in Stylecraft Special DK. I'm going to challenge myself now. Do I remember the colours? No. I might do. Hang on. That was burgundy, copper, gingerbread, gold, mustard and khaki. The only one I'm not sure about is the gold. Superb work. All I needed to do was, before I came to film this, just quick checkly. No. Check quickly on Ravelry. That's all I needed to do. But I failed to prepare, and we all know what that means. We are preparing to fail. Right. Once again, you have seen this before, about this time last year. This is a sweater that I'm knitting from this pattern, with a cake of Hobie Horizon Christmas yarn. And last time you saw it, a year ago, it was there. So I've done that little bit. This is still the back. You knit the back, then the front, then the sleeves. Right, let's get the complete cake out. The only thing with these Hobie Horizon cakes is they fall to pieces and get in such a mess. So I've got this in a bag that is kind of holding it tightly, and I leave it in the bag and pull it out from the bag because it falls to pieces. Right, this is, bearing in mind I bought this last year, I don't know if they have any left. It's a limited edition, but it seems to be that it comes up every year. So this was colour 02 last year, and it's got a burgundy, a grey, a brighter red, a light grey, a lovely green, and then what looks like white, but hang on a minute while I try and get that back in. It's not a pure white. It has got the occasional fleck of, I think you can see it there, flecks of red in it. The reason I'm showing you that is I have a dilemma about the sleeves. You may remember that I'm knitting something with a Halloween cake, and that on the Halloween cake one I'm going to do black sleeves. I don't know what to do sleeve wise with this one, whether to go red or green. Dave favours green. I don't know, but I've got plenty of time to decide because I've got the whole front to knit and still half the back. I can't go white because of the red fleck in the white, and you'd think white would be easy to match, wouldn't you? It's not that easy at all. There are hundreds of shades of white, so it's much easier to go with one of the colours. The grey might be the best option, but then I don't know that that will scream Christmas. And again, the grey has got, if you can see there are some little flecks of red in the grey. Well, burgundy really in the grey. So, oh, and in the light grey. Oh, and in the green. Okay, so there's flecks of red or burgundy in all the colours. I don't want to put black sleeves on because I'm doing that on my Halloween one, and I think it might mute the stripes. I do like stripes, can you tell? So I think it's going to be red or green. I'm going to wait and see once I've got the front and the back knit. I'll make a decision about the sleeves. Might not be doing the sleeves till next year, let's face it. So that's one decision, and the other decision is long or short. The pattern has long sleeves, but I don't know whether to go with a short sleeve because it'll be quicker to knit, obviously, but also because she says wearing a long sleeve sweater. I don't often wear long sleeve sweaters unless I'm going out and it's cold. I feel like I would get more use with a short sleeve, but these are all decisions for the future. So yeah, this is my Christmas sweater for myself, which never gets knit. I don't know how long. It must be probably 10 years I've been talking about knitting myself a Christmas sweater. And you may remember I did start a colourwork one, and I don't know what I did, but it was going to come out kind of child-sized. There was a horrible mistake somewhere. Oh, I haven't done that for a long time. Sorry, I've derailed myself. I used to stutter quite a lot, and I just stuttered and it's derailed me. I think it's probably because I'm tired. I am tired, can you tell? I get a bit hyper when I'm tired, and I didn't sleep very well last night. The old hot flushes were out in full force, and every time I fell asleep I had another one and it woke me up. Right. The next two projects I've got to talk about I have not yet cast on. I'm going to be casting one of them on today, which is naughty because I ought to concentrate on my gift knits. But I thought if I get them on the needles at least. So I mentioned a Christmas shawl. I knit one, not last year, the year before. I did the Shawlography by Stephen West that I'd knit when it was an MCAL and enjoyed it so much. I knit it again as a Christmas shawl using Christmas colours, which for me are red, green, black and white. I was gifted this book by my friend Sue, and I'm knitting a scarf out of it, but I wanted to knit my Christmas shawl out of it as well. And the pattern I've chosen is this one, but I'm not doing it quite the way. It's called the Daring Double Shawl, but mine is going to be a Scaredy Single shawl because it's knit in two. You knit two triangular shawls basically, and then you graft them together. I'm just knitting one. I want it as kind of a Christmas triangular scarf, so I don't need to knit the two. And because of the way it's constructed, I can do that. I can mess about with it. So, in another Dave bag, for the self-striping, I'm going to be using this. West Yorkshire Spinners Candy Cane. I knit myself some Christmas socks with it in 2020, and they were the first pair of Christmas socks I ever knit myself. It is my favourite Christmas self-striping sock yarn, and I ran straight and got another ball. I have yet to make any more socks, so I thought I'll use the other ball for this scarf. You need two contrasting colours, so I've gone with Chocolate Lime, which is another West Yorkshire Spinners, and it goes really well with the green in the Candy Cane. I was tempted to go with red, but I'm afraid it will bleed. So this will be on either side of the candy cane, and then the top and the bottom of the shawl are going to be in this. Oh, you just caught a bit there. This is an undyed 80... $80.15.5, can't remember, with gold stellina, which you just got a little bit of sparkle off, but I can't get it to do it again. If I hold it really close, oh yeah, you can just see a little bit there. So this is going to be the top and the bottom, either side of the green, and I'll just have to be very careful when I block it, just in case there's any bleeding. I don't remember my socks bleeding, but it was a while ago. So I want to get that cast on today. And then, because I am super ambitious about these things, I was gifted this yarn by my friend Nancy, who has the Kitty Scrapper podcast. It's Papatya Angora with merino wool. Pretty luxurious, I feel. It's colour number 6840. I don't know if it's still available. It's 100 grams and there's 550 metres in the 100 grams, which is the same as the James C. Brett yarn, which is sold as a DK. So the pattern, no, the ball band for this yarn says to use 2mm crochet hook, 3 to 3.5mm needle. But the weight and the yardage, so that's really telling you it's a sport at best. The yardage says it's the same as the James C. Brett DK. It's not as dark as it's showing there. It's a lovely, that's better, Christmas cardigan, I thought. But I'm going to swatch, I know. Who the heck am I? I don't think you can see it. If I tip you up a bit. Do you see that there? Where are we? That says Anti-Swatch Club, of which I am the founding member and the president. Ordinarily, I would start it and see if I like the fabric, and if I do, carry on. If I don't, rip it back. But because it's fluffy, I don't really want to be ripping it back. So I thought I will grit my teeth and be a big girl and do a gauge swatch. I'm trying to find a picture because I didn't print. This was a download. I bought it from the Sirdar website. It's a Sirdar pattern. It's design number 10879. I'm going to link it below. It's for the soft down DK Sirdar yarn, and it's knit on 6mm and 5mm needles. So larger than a what am I trying to say here? A larger needle size than you would normally use for a DK. That's where I was going. So I think I need to swatch. Let me cover up the pattern. It's a very simple. There's no button band, no ribbings as such, because the whole thing is ribbing. And I thought on those big needles, that's going to knit up quite quickly. There's a page and a half of pattern. It's not very complicated. So I've got enough meterage. I just need to do a gauge swatch and see, is it going to be too gappy? Is it going to be too loose a fabric? The pattern is written for DK, obviously, to be knit on larger needles. It's a fluffy yarn like that, but I don't know whether the yarn itself is thicker than what I've got. So having a loose fabric and it being quite drapey but still really warm and cozy is appealing, but I don't want it to look like a string vest. So I'm going to gauge swatch, and if it is too loose for my taste, I have got some, I think it's actually called Christmas Green, Yarnsmith's merino sock that I bought to make. I fool myself about these things. I bought to make a Christmas sweater with some colour work on, so I could hold that together with it if it's going to be too flimsy. Right, I think that was everything. No, it wasn't. There is one more thing that I cast on Sunday. It's just as well I wrote this down, isn't it? I mentioned Ewan's reenactment kit earlier, and he has asked me for his part of his Christmas present, could he have some rifleman's mitts? I'm going to show you the pattern. I'm going to show you the picture. I'm not worried about you copying the pattern because I have to do this to be able to read it. So if you can read it off the screen, good luck to you. So that's one. The other one just looks like an ordinary mitten. If you've been here a while, you will know that my least favourite thing to knit in the whole world is gloves. I do not do fiddly, and fingers and thumbs are fiddly. If I knit fingerless gloves, I normally do them, there's no fingers on them, they're like fingerless mitts. There was a big thing last year, I'm sure, where I couldn't decide what was a fingerless glove and what was a fingerless mitt. I think if it's got a bit of a finger, it's a fingerless glove. If it hasn't, it's a fingerless mitt. That's how it is in my mind anyway. But it was the only thing really that he's asked for Christmas. So he has asked for something else, which I'll show you in a minute from the same book. So it looks teeny tiny. His hands are palm-wise much the same size as mine, but his fingers are longer. His thumb's about the same, weirdly enough. Bearing in mind he's 6'4" and I'm 5'4". So either I've got horribly large hands for a woman, or he's got smallish hands for a man. But this is how it fits. So I've done... Oh, I know what caused that. I'll show you in a minute. So I've done the thumb. There was a lot of swearing. I'm knitting it on DPNs for authenticity. Does it matter? Can I put it onto Magic Loop? I think I might have to. On this needle are the stitches to make the finger, and then the rest of it is knit like a mitt, and then the other hand is just a mitt, so I'll only have the thumb to contend with on the other hand. He is left-handed, but he does a lot of things right-handed. Apart from writing, he does pretty much everything right-handed because he's learnt to. All his life I kept saying, we'll buy you some left-handed scissors, and I didn't get any until a couple of years ago, and now he's lost them. But he can cut things out right-handed because he's always had to. Yeah, so Rifleman's Mitts from this book, which I can't remember if it was sent to me by a viewer. I had a lot of books and printed patterns sent to me by viewers for Ewan. So I think it might well have been. And if it was you, thank you very much, because he does want these mitts. It's called Knitting for Tommy, Keeping the Great War Soldier Warm. And it's filled with some very interesting things. Where are we? There's something else he wants me to knit him. There's no pattern for it in this book. Oh dear, how sad, never mind. But it is quite an easy thing to work out. I've been trying to convince him to learn to knit because I know that men knit in times past, and he won't have it. But here in this book, empirical evidence, as they say, are British soldiers, and one of them, let me point him out, is knitting black and white from 1918. My tummy's rumbling now. I'm sorry if you can hear that. It's probably time for coffee and Levinses. It's too early for lunch. Where is this thing I want to show you? Where is it when you want to find something you never can? Here it is. This is a very peculiar garment that Ewan desperately wants because I have to think about this. He's not a reenactor. He is a living historian, which doesn't mean he's a historian that's alive. There has been some confusion about that before. It means he's a historian who lives in the period of time for whatever event it is. And this, he gives lectures and he gives talks and he displays things, and as well as being dressed and, you know, people can hold stuff and, oh, the pack is so heavy and all that business. He wants this. Now, it's not going to be hard to figure out. It's basically a square. But what I've got to work out is how many squares it needs to have on it, because it's used as a garment, but also as an impromptu chessboard. We probably have got a chessboard somewhere in the house, but more than likely the loft, and I can't get in there. So I need to work out how many black and how many white squares I need and in what configuration. And then just knit a square and another square, and then put on sort of a shoulder strap and a button round your side strap. My personal opinion, I've spent the last few years being frustrated by the necessity to knit things in beige because they must be period correct colours. Case in point, this is Yarnsmith's Merino in camel, if anyone's in the least bit interested in knitting things. And now I've got to knit something in black and white. So, yeah. If any of you are chess players and can tell me with certainty how many black and white squares I need, that would be very helpful. So yes, this book is filled with, there are patterns for things, but it's also filled with sort of propaganda type photographs. So you've got the lady knitting, which she's serving to because she's knitting, and this one, that could quite easily have been my grandma. My grandfather was in the London Scottish Regiment and they wore kilts at the beginning of the war. And she was worried about him being cold, so she used to knit him long johns to wear under his kilt. They did stop wearing kilts. I can't remember. Ewan could tell me. If Ewan was here, he'd be shouting dates from the other side of the landing. After the mustard gas attacks, they started wearing trousers because mustard gas attacks mucous membranes. I'm just going to leave that there for you. These are things that we didn't need to know, but now we do. Here is a rather risque picture of a lady mending her stocking, assisted by her cat. It's a really nice book. I mean, there are some patterns in there for knitting World War I era things, but a lot of it is just historical stuff, which I'm also interested in. I know I make out that I'm like bored to death with all of his nonsense, but I do actually quite enjoy it. I think he got his love of history from me, to be honest. The reason I went ew is that my hands are peeling. Can you see? I did a lot of washing up yesterday and I did put cream on afterwards, but my hands do not like Lidl's washing up liquid. Should have put my gloves on. Anyway, that's all that I've got to ramble to you about now. So I'm going to go. I need coffee and sustenance, I think. I may see you next week. I don't know. My plan... Oh, the other thing I want to get done during November, I bet everybody's gone by now, is the ribbings for my Advent makes. I've got plans to make another Radvent. I want to do that with the... I don't know if you remember, I'm looking over there because it's still hanging on the back of the door from January. I put together an Advent for myself using mini skeins and leftovers. I thought I'd make another Radvent cardigan out of that. A pressed flowers sweater, I think, and a pressed flowers cardigan, just for a bit of variety. But I'd like to get the ribbings done so that come the 1st of December I can just start on colours. I haven't bought any Advents this year. I bought a self-striping sock Advent from Spin and Leather. And you may remember I was making some Halloween socks in a trial for the self-striping sock yarn at Christmas. I'm not sure it's going to work. I've got to put them onto a cord and try them on, but I don't think that's going to be option for my self-striping yarn. So I'm back to not really knowing what I'm going to do with that. I don't want to do what I did last year, which is make 2 sock tubes and then divide each one, so I got 3 pairs of socks. I got 2 ordinary leg for me, which is only about that long, and like what I call a trainer pair, so it's just the foot and then a bit of ribbing. I got 3 pairs out of it, so I could do that again. I just got really bored of putting heels and toes on at the end because there were 6 of them to do. I suppose I could just knit them as socks and put the heels in as I went, couldn't I? I could do that. We don't need to make these decisions now. These are more decisions that don't need to be today, and it's been nearly 55 minutes. So I am going to go because I do need a coffee. I think Lily needs feeding because she's been up here trying to steal Rocket's food. There was a cat fight just before I started recording because he caught her at his dish. So I'm going to go. So I think I was saying before I distracted myself that I may see you next week. If I don't, please don't worry. My plan through November is to just come and see you if I've got something to show you. So I might see you next week. I might not see you for a couple of weeks. I might not see you for 3 weeks. Do not worry, I am fine. My back is much better. Thank you for all the good wishes. It's not completely back to my normal, but it is a lot better than it was. So nothing is wrong. I'm just knitting and chilling. Right, I will see you potentially next week. Bye guys.